Critical Role is one of the few, the only live streaming tabletop group I'm currently watching. But I think the second campaign they're currently playing, the Wildmount campaign, has become kind of boring as of late, and I find myself doing a lot of other stuff while watching it. I mean, I don't find these online groups engaging enough to not be doing something else while watching it. So I usually watch them when I'm either working out or cooking. But then on the other hand, I can't even watch a regular like Netflix series without doing something else while watching it. It's just not engaging enough. But I really liked the first, what can I say, maybe the first 100 episodes of the Wildmount campaign. I mean, when Critical Role became incredibly popular a few years ago, I looked into it to see what the fuss was about. And they were like into 100 episodes of season 1 at that point. So I went back and I started at the beginning of season 1. And I started out kind of confused because the characters were already like 9th level, because they didn't start live streaming the campaign, they just continued a campaign they had been playing. But they were already high level and I didn't know these characters and I couldn't get into it. But shortly after, they started season 2 with level 2 characters who don't know each other, and I could get into that. These were the first few adventures were wonderful. How the group met, the first adventures they had together, the first triumphs and tragedies, wonderful stuff. And I loved how every character had like a tortured past and some kind of dark secret, and they all had to work through that and overcome that through the power of friendship. Good stuff. Good epic fantasy stuff. I really loved how they would go on traveling in the beginning with just a horse-drawn cart, going camping, meeting bandits again. That was all good fun. But I feel like since the party hit high level, I think it started when Caleb, the mage, started to be able to teleport the party all over the continent. That's when the series started to decline in my eyes. For one, the tone shifted a lot from these like contained low-level scenarios with just a few characters to keep track of, and became this continent-spanning epic fantasy with dozens of characters to keep track of and fight against what is basically gods by this point. And everything just started to take so long. The party would argue for hours what they should be doing. And instead of these contained scenarios, the party would teleport out of this scenario to get outside information and outside help and then go back in. And that really makes it hard to follow the plot. And while a lot of that, of course, has to do with personal preference, I like these smaller scale stories, this more sword and sorcery style with this more questionable gray morality and this smaller, more human scope. Like Conan the Barbarian in the original stories never had to stop an evil god to save the world. The biggest thing he had to do was stop an evil wizard to save his own kingdom. And that was still like a contained and personal story. I loved those. And this kind of grand epic scope with the heroes out there to save the world, I can get into that from time to time, but it's not my preference. Now, apart from that, I don't think this perceived decline of the show is the fault of Matthew Murtha or any of the players. They're still doing a bang-up job. Especially Matthew, keeping track of all of this plot strings and NPCs. It's quite amazing. Now, I think it is the D&D system itself that is pushing the show in this direction. Since they haven't modified D&D 5e, at least not too much, the characters have this progression from small heroes to big and legendary heroes to mystic and godlike heroes. Characters, especially past level 10, just amass so much power, so many hit points, so many magical spells and items and abilities that it's dramatically shifting the tone of the game. That is a well-known phenomenon, it's called phenomenon, not a problem, within the D&D community. That is why many games just don't run till level 15 or 20, but stop at level 6, 10 or maybe 12, and then you start new characters and start a new campaign. But if you're running a really long form campaign, at some point the characters just can't level up anymore without getting all these powers. I mean, if you're into this character development, if you like this shift of tone, it's totally fine. But for me, it's like watching two separate shows. One was a sword and sorcery show, and the other is an epic fantasy show. That is, I guess, something you should keep in mind when designing your campaign. What tone do you want? Maybe only run the campaign from level 1 to level 10, or maybe only run it from level 10 to level 20. And don't expect that the campaign will work within the same tone and scope from level 1 through level 20. And while I will still watch Critical Role Campaign 2 to its conclusion, I now find myself actually looking forward to Campaign 3 and hope that the first 10 levels of Campaign 3 will be once again the kind of game that I like and I am looking for. Anyway, that's all I've got for today, just something I wanted to talk about. What about you? Do you watch Critical Role? Which do you prefer? Campaign 1, Campaign 2? And what was your favorite Critical Role moment? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.